Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I wanted to do a visual merchandising Q&A. I keep getting a lot of questions in the comments on my videos, on Instagram, kind of all that stuff. So I figured that I would do one video kind of putting all the questions that I've gotten so far together, and hopefully this will be easier for you guys to answer some questions if I haven't been explaining it well enough or whatever it may be. Some of these questions have been in the comments of my videos, so whether you've seen them or not, I apologize. But I thought it would be easier to have a video that's like a one-stop shop where you can go for all these questions, and even then if your questions aren't answered, leave them below and I can always do another Q&A. But I just wanted to go ahead and do this because sometimes there's confusion, and I just wanted to do this video. I thought it would be very helpful for others out there. So let's get right into it. None of these questions are in any particular order, just kind of how I received them, and let's just get right into it. So the first question on the list here is, how many times does the store change displays? I think typically this just varies. Like, I think with my videos, like I've said, this is just kind of going over the general idea of visual merchandising. Each store is going to be somewhat different, but giving a general idea, most of it's going to be kind of seasonal displays, I would think, or new product. It also depends on how big your store is, how big your company is, and that will also kind of determine like the frequency of store changes, like displays. Otherwise, it could just be like the merchandiser's bored and they want to do a new display of something, or they want to bring something out from the back and put it up front and see if it'll sell better. So there's really like just different reasons as to why there's frequency and changes or not. But again, that really just depends on the store and the company itself. How are you notified about promotions? Through emails. With my job, I kind of have my own little desk and office, and I have a lot of emails from corporate, and they just kind of alert us what kind of sales are coming up, when they're coming up, things like that, so then we know how to merchandise them. Can you share your portfolio? I think I'm gonna do a separate video on this entirely, but I've mentioned this before that I have gone to school through Yellow Brick, Parsons Teen Vogue, their fashion industry essentials program, and the final assignment that I had in that program was to create a portfolio. It's a great school. I've talked about it a bunch. I will link down videos talking about it, and I will also include a link in the comments below if you would like to sign up for the school. I highly recommend it. I got a certificate in fashion industry essentials, and now I'm a merchandiser at Mattel, so I would highly recommend it. But I'll share other videos going into it since I've already done videos about it. I don't want to actually like keep going into detail about it. Why do stores move product around? Kind of in tie with the first question, sometimes to get better exposure of product, you could have something that's been in your store for a while that hasn't really been shopped, and then once you tweak it a little bit, move it more up front or move it somewhere else, all of a sudden it's sold out. So it's really interesting. As a merchandiser, you kind of start to study like shopping behaviors of people, and it's really interesting when you bring it to a new light or just in a different area how much better it's shopped and well seen, better seen. But I think that's definitely a big thing of it. Like, even if you go to Target, you know, right when you walk in, typically there's a bunch of like holiday decor for the upcoming holidays, whatever it may be, and I think, you know, they're going to shift things around depending on what's coming up, what season, and things like that, and just for better exposure on certain products. I've done that. What do you have to do every day? I have a whole video on a day in the life of a merchandiser where I go into full detail about what I typically do in a day as a merchandiser, so I will link that below as well so you can check that out. Why do you have emails? Because I work for a bigger company, I need to talk to more people when there's product launches, when there's visual calls, when there's discontinuing items, when there's promotions coming up, multiple reasons. I'm not like glued to my computer emailing people, but it could be a thing. I'm also the leader of operations, so I need to check in on, you know, back of house and all that kind of product, and, you know, any issues with shipment and just kind of things like that. Not too many emails, but this is the first job I've had where I've had to do emails, so that's kind of cool. Again, I think it's just going to depend on the store you work for and the company and how large it is, how large your team is. Once you do a display, do you go back to your office or do you stay on the floor? Kind of a combination of both. It depends on what the display is. If it's something for like a product launch, I will have to take photos and then like submit them to me or my boss or whatever. Otherwise, I could just stay on the floor, circulate, see if I really like the finished display that I've done, see if there's any other tasks that I want to start before I have to go home. Just kind of a mixture. It depends on what kind of display that I'm doing. I'll usually like to stay on the floor for a little while unless I have a break coming up, or I need to take a break, or I have a lunch or something like that. But I relatively like to stay on the floor, but a lot of the stuff prepping I have to do in the back. We have a whole visual studio where I prep things. So kind of half and half, I guess. If a display gets messy, do you need to clean it up? Depends on the display. It's kind of just like everybody's helping each other. So if it's really slow, the retail people will probably do it because they're bored and they're looking for something to do. Sometimes I'll do it because certain displays have to be displayed a very particular way because of merchandising standards, so then I'll do it because retail people might not know what way it has to be put back or, you know, whatever. So it doesn't hurt to help out. It's not like it's beneath me or anything, so if I see a messy display, I'll definitely fix it because it'll bother me more than anything that one of my displays got messed up. What season is your favorite when making displays? I don't think I really have a particular favorite. I really like embellishing on outdoor and nature displays, I think is really fun. So with spring and summer coming up, that's been fun. Fall was super fun. I added a bunch of fall props to a bunch of displays, and Christmas is my favorite time of year. So I love kind of adding that snow and like that magic to it. So not really, I don't think any favorite season in particular. Probably if I had to choose, more fall and winter, but anything outdoors I really, really like to do. What subject matter do you like best? Outdoors, pretty much, kind of reiterating the last question. We are already almost done with these questions so far, guys. All right, 2 more questions. Do you have to help customers while you're doing updates, or are you solely working on visual? So typically, a majority of the time, again, depending on the size of your store and your team and who else can help around the store, and if you actually have separate visual and retail teams, typically I try not to. I think it's better for retail to help because that is their job. Visual, it's not like it's not my job to help someone if they need it, but if I'm in the middle of a display, I can't really talk. I have my hands full and I know that there's other associates that are actually available to talk. Kind of my own personal preference. Like sometimes I'm moving shelving around and really moving product around the store, and I'm like, hey, I'll get someone else to like come over and help because I'm really busy and tied up with something else. Of course, I don't say that to the customer because, you know, I'm not gonna try to come off across as mean. I just try to solely work on visual. It also depends on how busy or slow it is, and mainly how big of a project I'm doing or a display I'm doing will determine like if I can help or break away. If it's just a little tweaking, I'll help. If I'm really in the middle of a big project, I won't help because I'm in the middle of something. Last question, do you work weekends often? Depends. Again, I feel like these are all kind of like depending answers, but I don't want to give you guys a yes or no question to something that might be different for the store or company you work for. With where I am, it kind of rotates, so that way we all get weekends off now and then. Sometimes if it's really busy with upcoming holidays or seasons, then we'll work, especially before a product launch. I'll be working a lot. Sometimes I work like 8 days in a row, so that gets a little intense. But we rotate weekends, all the other teams and management, so everybody will get a weekend off every now and then. Usually I'll get at least like 1 day a weekend off, which is really nice, but I can't really complain. It's a great job. A lot of these answers to the questions I hope can give you kind of a better idea, but a lot of it's going to depend on where you work. Like I've said before, if it's a bigger company or a mom and pop store, it's really just going to depend. Each store is different. I know I never got the title as a visual merchandiser at Tommy Hilfiger, but when I helped out with merchandising there, nowhere to the extent that it is for Mattel now. It's a lot different. There's a lot more responsibilities that I have with this job title at this company. So it's all gonna be a little bit different. I hope you guys liked this video. If you have any other questions, feel free to comment down below or message me on Instagram, as a lot of you guys have been doing. It's @chloscall. Message me, follow me, let's talk about merchandising. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed all the merchandising content. Subscribe for more as I post weekly, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.